4.5 years ago, on July 6th, 2016, I jumped off the cliff all by myself, and I sued my boss, former Fox News chairman and CEO, Roger Ailes, for sexual harassment. It was the biggest decision of my life. Once public, the story ran like wildfire all around the world. Back then, I could have never imagined my story would help ignite the Me Too movement, and that I would become one of the prominent faces fighting against forced arbitration in the workplace. But here's what I found out. Courage is contagious, and the cultural revolution we're still experiencing is long overdue. The first step for me was telling the truth. The next step was to passionately work to change the system for all women and men across our country. So I've spent much of the last 4 years walking the halls of Congress, encouraging legislators to take real, meaningful action to help workplace harassment victims, to take the issue out of the shadows of secrecy. In December 2017, I proudly joined legislators from both parties, Congresswomen Bustos and Stefanik, and Senators Gillibrand and Graham, to introduce the Ending Forced Arbitration of Sexual Harassment Act. In February 2019, the bill was reintroduced in the House. And here we are again with the new Congress, and here I am again talking about my bill and forced arbitration, because quite honestly, I truly believe that this legislation will change the landscape of the American workplace, retaining women and people of color, while at the same time making it safer for everyone. So why is this bill so important to me? Because it's actually not about me. This is about the thousands of women who reached out to me after their story became public, making me realize that almost every woman in our country has a story, and that's shameful. So many of these women have shared their emotional stories of pain, but mostly about how they were silenced, because that's what forced arbitration does. And it turns out that silencing is the harasser's best friend, because it perpetuates the systemic problem of protecting predators and pushing women out of the workforce. And sadly, my story is not unique. Sexual harassment in the workforce, not a new problem. Neither is the use of forced arbitration to deal with it, to cover up the dirty laundry. You have Dov Charney, the founder and former CEO of American Apparel, sexually harassing people for years, but nobody ever knew about it because of secret arbitration. Another horrifying example, the more than 180 women who reported sexually being assaulted by massage therapists when they simply went to get a massage at Massage Envy spas. These women put trust in the company and the employees only to suffer the trauma of being forced back into secrecy. And one case in particular that really resonated with me was Lily Siebert from California, because she says she was sexually assaulted by her therapist, and then when she went to cancel her membership with Massage Envy, simply going to do that in the app, she agreed to forced arbitration. That doesn't seem to be fair. There's the story of Danny Masterson, the actor and well-known Scientologist who allegedly raped several women, but because there's a forced arbitration clause in the Scientology contracts, one the women say they were coerced into signing, these cases will probably never see the public eye. It's impossible to know exactly how many women have faced this kind of situation, but you just heard from the other witness, 60 million Americans have these clauses in their employment contracts, and by 2024, 80% of the private sector non-union workers will be forced into arbitration. That's why I aim to change this. My going public opened the floodgates to shed light on a pervasive epidemic. Weinstein, Cosby, O'Reilly, Moonves, Matt Lauer, Charlie Rose, Mark Halperin, so many more. Since my movement started, I've helped states to pass these eradicating arbitration laws as well. But here's what's happening when those laws go to be tested at the state level. The judges feel compelled to honor the federal law. And so they're still putting these cases back into arbitration. I want to leave you with this and have you understand just for a moment what it feels like to have the courage to come forward, because this could be your wife, your daughter, or your granddaughter. A woman finally decides to go to HR to complain. If she has an arbitration clause, the reaction will be, phew, good. No one will ever know about this. Her case is promptly thrown into the secret chamber. The woman will likely be blacklisted, demoted, and fired from her job. In arbitration, she gets no appeals. And so the cycle continues. It's a repeat business thing. We've lost millions of women in the workforce due to this, and just in the last year due to COVID.
Ms. Carlson, if you could wrap up, please.
Thank you to the brave members of Congress from both sides for drawing a line in the sand, because this is not partisan. This is apolitical. And it's my great hope that we can get something done that's bipartisan to help women in this country. Thank you.